Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us today. It is November 22nd. We're right before 2023. We're right before the holiday season here in the U.S. Here becomes Thanksgiving. And at Thanksgiving, we take a time off, but I wanted to sort of get in a video where we're doing our live session, take your questions about U.S. immigration so that we could, provide the best kind of educational content out there to help you in the process. I have a little bit of sore throat. Kids got sick. I get sick. Family gets sick, as it is for those who have kids know. But we're gonna work our way through it and have a good session today. Take your wonderful questions to help again guide you on U.S. immigration law. And this is educational purposes, not intended for individual legal guidance. Excuse me. But we're going to do our best to try to guide you through it. So, other than that, I always talk about the guide, the marriage immigration guide, the ultimate marriage immigration guide. If you're interested in learning about marriage, green cards, fiance visas, you need to download this guide first and foremost before you talk with anybody. It's at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Excuse me, again, that's marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and download the guide there. You're not going to regret it. And with that, let's get the show started. So, Mr. Tuck says, good day, attorney. Good day to you as well. It's good night here in Los Angeles, where I'm located. We're going to do our show at 5 p.m. Tuesday Pacific time. We got a question right here that popped up. We got a bunch of people on Instagram. Let's see. Question pops up, says, sir, after applying for citizenship with 3-year green card, how much time will it take for citizenship to be approved? This is a question we get every week. There are no timelines that could really give you with regard to getting your citizenship approved, when your green card is going to get approved. All this stuff depends on your local office, the officer handling the case, and your own background. And so it could be 3 months, it could be a year. I've submitted citizenship cases on the same day for 2 different people in one office. One of them got approved in like 4 or 5 months, and one of them took 1 year and 2 months. So there's no way to really say. And the timelines they even give you when you submit a case and you go online and check at uscis.gov or your online account, and it says that their estimated timelines are for how long this is going to take. Those are completely unreliable. All you can do is wait and wait. And the best thing and the only thing you do to kind of speed it up is to do your paperwork as proper as possible. And when you go to your interview, you knock it out of the park. You answer everything perfectly so that the case can get approved. But with regard to how long it takes, it's unknown, because even for citizenship, there's a mandatory interview. Even after you do your own interview, there's an oath ceremony you have to do. Now, they could have the oath ceremony on the same day. Potentially, they could have the oath ceremony a week later. Before COVID, what they used to do is, like in Los Angeles, they would have stadiums where they bring everyone who got their citizenship interview done properly, and they would take them to a stadium. They'd have to fill up like a 5,000 person stadium. And because it took a while to organize that, after you did your interview for your citizenship and you're approved at the interview, you weren't approved for citizenship, but you're approved at the interview, you might have to wait 1, 2, 4, 5 months until you got your space in the stadium to do the big oath ceremony. So then that's a wild card how long it takes. I had another case in Southern California, very clean case. Once the interview, it took around 7 months after the interview to get approved. There's no problems with it. I had to threaten to sue them until they finally did it. I'm not sure why they were stuck, but I had to go that hard to threaten to sue them. And so that case, I would have said it was easy peasy, would have got approved. Didn't even need a lawyer, but eventually, he had me on. We have been working with this case since the beginning, since he got his green card for years. And so I thought, listen, that's it. We're going to sue you. There's no point in taking 7 months after the interview to approve this case. And once I made that threat, we got an approval notice, ding, like that. So it's not a thing we can answer, but I wish the best. We have another question from the Three Kings. Asked, my wife had an interview in Islamabad Embassy October 24th, where they asked for a Pakistani marriage certificate. While we're married in Pakistan, we submitted it, still waiting for it to issue. Let's see, let me put a pause right here on notifications. Sorry, behind the scenes. Okay. Waiting for how long time? Okay, so they forgot to take the marriage certificate from Pakistan. Usually there's like 2 different marriage certificates potentially. It's not the divorce certificate. So just make sure you have the proper document. But how long it takes when the government, either with USCIS or the embassy, asks for a document that you're missing, how long it takes them to respond afterwards, again, there's no clear answer there. It's up to the officer how long they want to take. I've seen it take a day. I've seen it take months. So it's all over the place, and that's why you want to have everything together as good as possible to avoid these kind of issues from happening. And even with embassy interviews, especially when you're in South Asia, the Middle East, you could do an interview, have all the documents, but the embassy still won't make a decision on the case for many months afterwards. I just had a fiance visa case that occurred in a Middle Eastern country, and the person went to the interview. After the interview, they said, "Let us think about it." They went to a thing called administrative processing. It took 7 or 10 months. In October, they went in January for the interview. In October, they emailed us saying your administrative processing is done. Come and do a new medical checkup because it took so long, more than 6 months. The medical that they had done expired. They have to get a new one. They do a medical checkup, give their passport to the embassy, and the embassy took 3.5 weeks to give the passport back. That's unheard of. Usually it takes 5 days or something like that. A lot, 2 weeks. And this person, it was an Iranian case. Iran doesn't have U.S. embassies within it. The person has to travel to another country and stay there while this process is happening. And they expected, I said, listen, this embassy takes a while. It takes them 2 weeks. They took 2 weeks worth of money for hotels, stuff like that. 2 weeks go by, another week goes by, another couple days go by. It's very frustrating, very expensive, and very stressful, but they eventually issued it. But it just really goes to show that when these timelines, whether it's for citizenship, whether it's a green card at the embassy, whether it's a green card with USCIS, there are no reliable time frames that we can give you. I can give you estimates, but I could be easily wrong. And I frequently am wrong because every 6 months, the whole immigration journey in the United States for U.S. immigration completely it changes drastically. Whereas we might have cases getting done in 3 months and tell my clients, oh, we'll get done in a couple months. And from experience for 10 plus years, 10, 15 years of doing this, you got to be cautious about the expectation to give people. And the best expectation to have is we don't know, just general estimates, but they could all be wrong. Just be mindful of this stuff. Next question that pops up says, sorry, married in Dubai marriage certificate, when I'm in Pakistan. I don't know why they asked for Pakistan. So the embassy is making a mistake, and you need to give a proper document there with regard to the marriage certificate. You need to upload to National Visa Center too. Tabassum asks, IR2 for Pakistan, how much wait? Again, this is the same question I'm answering. I can't talk about wait times. Maria asks, hi, can I sponsor my mom with my sibling and his family together at the same time? No, you can't do that. So when you want to get a green card by sponsor, I think you mean a green card for your mom. That must be what you're talking about. You have to be a U.S. citizen, and when a U.S. citizen applies for their mom, they can only apply for their mom, and the siblings cannot be included in that. So what you end up having to do is get a mom a green card, and once your mom has a green card, she goes around and applies for her children, and hopefully they're under 21 and unmarried, so that it doesn't take too long. But if they're married or over 21, that kind of stuff, then the timelines kind of get out of control. But the sooner you start the process, the better to kind of avoid that long situation from happening. I'm going to take a quick question on Instagram. So Maya asks, sir, how long will it take after the embassy reviews documents to give document qualified status, schedule interview? Again, it depends on luck in your local embassy, how they're processing this stuff. There's no real answer to that question. Does that one ask, hi, sir, case was updated to show fingerprints were taken October 11th. What does that mean? It means they got your fingerprints and they're just notifying, updating the system. That's it. And you got to wait for the next steps on your case. Let's go back to the other channels. We're all, for those watching, we're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, all these different places. And I just realized my TikTok camera is being blocked by my Instagram camera. Sorry for those who just can't see my face with the phone's in the way. Let's fix that up. A quick note, we're into the show, and I forgot to mention, we do give away free video consultations, 3 of them. We'll be naming a person in a few minutes. All you got to do is like and subscribe wherever you're watching this, and then write a good question, or potentially just write consultation. If you don't have a good question, you can post publicly. And my wonderful assistant Katrina and myself will randomly pick people for this 3 different people video consultations. So it'll be a lot of fun. Okay, let's go. Next question. Paul asks, can I add the amount on a W-2 and 1099 to get a total income to meet 125% of poverty guidelines? So what you got to do is take your tax return and look at the total income amount. It's listed on the first pay tax returns. That is the number. That's your total income. Whatever you told the government on your tax return, and that's the number you should look at. Thank you for your question, Paul. And also your current income matters too. So your current income should show that much. If you have 1099s, it may not be feasible. So it requires more analysis. Eric Case asks, I filed the I-130 on February 9th, still waiting. Is that normal? There are different types of I-130, so that information is not enough for me to say. But in general, yeah, it takes a while to get I-130s done, whatever kind of case it is. Okay, how long does a permanent green card children to join them after filing for them, and can I adopt a child? So your question is not clear. If you're saying maybe that you're a green card holder, you're applying for children, how long for them to come? Unfortunately, it could take 1 to 3 years on average. And a lot of timeline questions, and just the same answer is that we don't know, but 1 to 3 years. And can I adopt a child? That's really open-ended question. Can you adopt a child? That's just that's not something we talk about. It's like there's adoption laws and there's issues, there's immigration. That's just something you need to talk with an attorney, family attorney, adoption attorney in that home country, and immigration attorney. There's a lot of analysis that can happen. When you just say, can I adopt a child? It's not something we can answer here. But thank you for your question, Deborah. Next question, Nora asks, hi, John, great presentation. Would you know anything about special immigrant visas? Is it 3 or 5 years on a green card to be completed before submitting citizenship application? I don't handle special immigrant visas. I think you're maybe talking about a VAWA case. If that's it could be done in 3 or 5 years. I think VAWA cases are 3-year citizenship, but because I don't submit VAWA cases myself, I'm not the best resource. We have team members do that by myself. Haven't very rarely touch a VAWA case, so I don't know exactly the answer. I think if you're, I'm guessing what you mean is VAWA. If that's the case, it may be 3, but other kinds not necessarily. Heather asked, my husband had a citizenship interview on June 1st. Our lawyer sent 2 requests to find out what is going on. I haven't heard anything yet. They didn't tell me he passed or not, but our lawyer was present. He said he answered it correctly. What would be the next step? Usually when a client goes to a citizenship interview and we don't get a notice of that ceremony is coming or nothing moving forward, around the 30-day mark, I write a letter to the actual person that did the interview. Take their name, we mail a letter to them. So this is what I do. If nothing happens after 60 days, I send a letter to the district director. And if it goes another one after that, then some letter tells us what you need to know. We have to maybe file a lawsuit, and we let them know at the 120-day mark we're going to file a lawsuit. And that may work and may not, but we just keep putting them on notice that, hey, let us help you finish this because it's a clean case. Now, if it's not a clean case, some issues, I don't know details, then that might be a thing. But it happens sometimes, but you just got to contact them, push in and say, hey, can we help you? Can we do something? Let us know. And then, take the stakes up and maybe let them know a lawsuit may be possible because we can't wait. A user 91 asks, hi, how does divorce affect your chances of naturalization? This is like a very general question, but it's too wide ranging. You have to state more facts. But essentially, it could have no effect. But if you're going to apply for citizenship based on having a green card for only 3 years, divorce will destroy the ability to do that. You have to do a 5-year version of it. It depends. How's divorce? I need to know more facts about your situation, how it affects. But generally, it doesn't have an effect. It may, but there's just a lot more nuances to be seen. But the first one that pops in mind is you can't do 3-year citizenship anymore. You have to do 5-year citizenship. But definitely talk to a lawyer in private about that. I do want to announce our winner, Maria Mahadzai. You won our free video raffle for a consultation. Please take a screenshot of where you're watching this so I can see your username and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com. That's info@jqqlaw.com. And we have a private consultation about your case for 15 minutes, see what's going on. If they're just tuning into the live show, all you got to do is ask a good question or say like and subscribe, ask a good question, or maybe write consultations. And in about 20 minutes from now, 2 more times, we'll name winners for a free video consultation. We can talk in private. I'm going to take quick questions on Instagram. Kidan says, can I expedite a USCI stage for my spouse? I have 2 medical surgeries next 2 months. You could always give it a shot. Hey, why not? Muthak asks, can we apply for M400 waiting on conditional green cards pending, and how long will it take for that? I don't have timelines. It's impossible to answer that question. Has been mentioned several times on the show today. But if you have an appropriate case, you can file for citizenship while removal of conditions is pending. We do that frequently. And let's get some other questions from other forums. Rasul asks, does history of common law relationship before marriage with a green card holder count as bona fide marriage? It depends on the state you're living in. So for example, California does not recognize common law marriages. So I'm a California attorney. Common law marriages doesn't make a difference. So Texas may have differently. I've heard Texas lawyers say that. I'm not a Texas attorney. However, if you're married in history of common law relationship for marriage, what is a common law relationship? Just if you have a relationship, you're living together, you're going traveling together, you have photos together. I mean, that's what you're looking for. The common law part of it, I think you're maybe trying to be too legalese about it. It's not that complex. It doesn't have to get that legalistic, if you will. But talk to a lawyer in private or download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide It has stuff you could do for bona fides in there. Download at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com, marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and check out the chapter on bona fides. It'll help you out. Jatu asks, hi, sir. My wife is a U.S. citizen, and I came here visiting and applied asylum here. Is there a rest of that question? Let's see. So I'm guessing like you want to file for a green card. How long will I wait to get my first time green card? I'm gonna have to ban any questions about timelines unless we already have questions. It depends on your local office and your case. It varies. There's no answer I could properly give you that's exact. I don't like to guess that stuff if there's no answer. Ubez asks, I applied for a work permit. It's been over a year. What's the waiting time on that? Whenever they get around to it. So Katrina, please no more questions about timelines. I hate to repeat myself so much. These timelines are not happening. I'm a 2-year green card holder, was assaulted by my wife and filed for divorce. I'm sorry. Is it true I can file for citizenship if I get approved on I-75 based on assault? If you have your I-75 removal conditions based on a waiver, abuse, you could potentially file for citizenship based on 3 years instead of 5 years. It's not, I don't typically, I haven't been able to find a rule of this, but what I heard is I can't say for sure. I don't deal with this situation as much, but I don't have the exact answer. I think you could do 3-year green card if you get it waiver based. I sent 5-1, but I need to research that, so I don't have an exact answer for you on that. Unfortunately, text. I'm sorry. Jatu asks, how long wait? We already answered that one. Tobasam asks, my son has a green card. Can he marry with a girl with a student visa in the United States? So marriage itself, outside of immigration, depends on your state, but as long as he's single and it's lawful marriage and all that kind of stuff, yeah, it's possible. What you're probably asking for is, could he get a green card for the young woman with the student visa? And most likely, we got to look at the case. Download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. There's a lot of information there. But I do this scenario often where we have a green card holder marrying a citizen. It's a typical scenario that happens. But I just got to review the case if that's a thing, to see if there's any issues. Ruby Red asks, I'm a green card holder, married, been 2 years. When can I apply for a naturalization? If you've been married with a U.S. citizen for 3 years and green card holder for 3 years and married with U.S. citizen during that time, you apply for 3 years. Minimum if you meet the other requirements. If you haven't married a U.S. citizen or they were a green card holder, then 5 years, and if you pass the other requirements. Love asks, can you become a U.S. citizen by joining the U.S. military with 2 years green card that is out to expire in 8 months? When you become in the military, they have a thing that lets you speed up the citizenship process if you get stationed abroad or something like that. So it depends on what you're doing in the military, where you're at in the process, but it may be possible to bypass the I-751. It's not just for military people, it's for people that may be married to somebody that gets a job assigned for a U.S. company abroad, for example. So it may be possible, but you got to work really fast. 8 months is not enough time, really, because if you just go join the military, by the time you get assigned and started, it might be too late. It may be possible to speed up the citizenship process if you join the military, but it depends on the facts of your case. SMS, hi John, have you been seeing delays for case creation or receiving case numbers for K-1 visas at the National Visa Center, even for embassies which are no backlogs? Yeah, generally K-1 visa processing times from the NVC. So what happens, a K-1 is a fiancé visa. Once USCIS approves the initial I-129F, they send the case to the Department of State. The National Visa Center is supposed to assign a case number. Yes, I have been seeing delays for K-1 case number issuances, which is very frustrating because you need that number. A lot of times we email the embassy to try to get the number so we get the ball rolling on registration, different ways that we need to do. But yeah, that is something that's happening for the last, at least the last 4 or 5 months we've been seeing, unfortunately. Paul's up. What if my sponsor didn't make enough last year, but is well above the federal poverty guidelines earning this year by showing job letter and pay stub? So what they're talking about is in an affidavit of support, and for that support for like a marriage case or a family case, you have to show you're making enough income. The rule is they really have to look at what your income is this year, but some officers rarely will look at history of income. Like if you're going through the embassy, I wouldn't want to use somebody who's making money now but wasn't last year. Depending on the officer, may be strict. With USCIS, I've seen flexibility and it should be okay. And most times, some lawyers will not file that case. So I have to say, I did a poll with about 70 immigration lawyers. I would say 60–70% of them would not accept this case if the person was making money this year but had not in the previous years. I've always had success with this. I've not been worried about it. but many lawyers will not accept it, and they want a joint sponsor who has several years worth of making the required income. I haven't had issues with myself, but I'm just telling you the legal practice, most lawyers won't accept that case. Stay True says, if someone overstayed and married but now divorced, will that be an issue to try to get citizenship? There's a lot more issues going on there. You overstayed. I mean, to become a citizen, you have to get a green card first. To get a green card, you have to figure out a way to get a green card. If you overstayed, that it creates different levels of difficulty. So I don't know if that could I don't know. This is too general-ended. There's a lot going on in your case. Will that be an issue? Yeah, how are you going to get a green card to get citizenship? So that is an issue. Yeah. User 95, that's renewing my 10-year green card, I-90, the 12-month extension expired last month. Can I do? Well, they extended the extension because I-90's green card renewals for 10-year green cards are taking so long that they said we're now going to issue 2-year extensions. So you should have received a letter extending it for another 12 months. If you haven't and you need proof of having a green card for work or for travel or for something like that, you need to contact USCIS to get an info pass appointment to get a green card stamp in your passport that acts as an extension for some more time to buy you more time. I do want to quickly name our winner for our second green card. I'm sorry, not green card lottery, but our raffle where we give away free video consultation. Mr. Tusks, let's have a private consultation, talk about your case. Take a screenshot where you're watching this and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com. That's info@jqqlaw.com. And for those just tuning in, we give away free video consultations. We have one more to give away, 15-minute video consultation in private. At the end of the show in 10 minutes, we'll name somebody to join. You have to like and subscribe and write a good question and or write consultation, and we'll randomly pick people to do the consultation in private. We got one more, but we'll be back next week with more of those. But we already gave away 2. We have one more left. And with that, it seems like we have a steady flow of questions. So I'll take one from Instagram, and then we'll go back to the other channels. Shahbaz, I changed my birth certificate due to court order. Actually, I deducted 5 years. I had an older brother who passed away, and I used his birth certificate. How can I explain the history to the officer? Shab, that's a mess right there. Hopefully, you don't consider fraud. This isn't something I can answer here. That's like a lot of things going on with regard to your case and potential document fraud and proving that document's real. Now that's late registered. It's gonna be a mess to fix that. I'm sorry, but you need to have a lawyer in private. And it might not be a good solution to what you're asking for, but I wish the best. But definitely talk to a lawyer in private about that. Didon asks, how soon can you file for a parent after naturalization? The second you get your naturalization certificate signed, you can file it. So the exact moment you get your naturalization certificate. Mary asks, I have a question. We have to be 21, which we're going to be probably fine citizenship. So Mary asks, I have a question. Can I apply for advanced parole when I have a U visa or work from, and the rest of your question comes on another page. Generally, everyone could ask for parole, depending on the situation. It's up to the government whether they want to approve it. Humanitarian parole and stuff like that is possible. You give it a shot, and I'm sure it's going to get approved. Alassam, our regulars. Hi, John. How much is the medical and admission fee? So I think we're talking about when you're at embassy and you do your interview, you have to do a medical checkup. The fee depends on how much the doctor charges in your home country. Usually there's 1 or 2 doctors that do it. You contact them and they'll tell you how much it costs. And then once your visa is approved per person, it's $220 right now to get the green card printed after the successful immigrant visa interview. They may be increasing in the future, but those are the general numbers right there. For medical, you got to contact the doctor to see how much they're charging now. And if you need a chest X-ray, if you need vaccines, the fees go higher and higher. Engin asks, my category is EB3, other workers. I got my advanced parole last week. I'm maintaining my student situation. My visa expired 4 years ago. I want to go to my home country with advanced parole. Is it safe? There's always risks. I can't guarantee safety in any way. I mean, is it safe to get on the airplane? Yeah, probably, but planes go down sometimes, unfortunately. So if you don't have any criminal history or misrepresentation or immigration problems in the past, then yeah, it's usually not an issue. I don't have a problem with it. Some lawyers will not even apply for advanced parole for their clients because they don't want to even risk it. At the end of the day, I don't know anything about you other than a couple of sentences here, so I can't give you that kind of judgment. But secondly, most people are okay with it if you don't have, again, criminal history or immigration issues that are problematic. But there's a level of risk you got to take on. I would only go if there's an emergency situation. Rarely I wouldn't want to use the advanced parole just for fun or just, I mean, seeing family is an important thing. You might not have seen it for a while, but, you know, it's a risk you got to take on inevitably in some form or fashion. Got a quick question on Instagram. Sure James says, I send requested documents, but it's been 25 days and haven't received anything from USCIS. I don't know. You should have tracking of some sort that could help you to see, make sure they got it. But I don't have an answer for that. Hopefully, you know, you sent it to the right place and it works and it goes from there. Fast Track asks, hi, if one applies for N600, then applies for a passport while the N600 is processing, will there be problems if the Department of State takes away the green card during the passport application? If they schedule an N600 interview and you go there and you don't have a green card, yeah, it could be an issue because they want to see the green card. So that maybe it's if you need the document, you need the document. So kind of time it right for that to happen properly. Santi asks, do parents need a waiver overstay? Do parents need waiver, overstayed, and left USA 10-year bars over already applying for I-130? If they just came to the United States and they overstayed by a year and they left subject to a 10-year bar, then since the 10 years passed, they don't need a waiver anymore. You just got to make sure they didn't have a permanent bar situation or other kind of violation. That's going to require other types of waivers. But yeah, if the whole 10-year bar, 10 years passed, then it should be okay. Some officers just, you need a document. The problem with these sometimes is people don't document the day that they left the United States. So then we don't have a date to judge by whether the 10-year has passed for the 10-year bar. So hopefully they have a plane ticket that shows they went. Some people go to the U.S. Embassy and they get a stamp for it, or they get a newspaper and they have to take a picture. They figure out something, and I don't know if that would work because you always get older newspaper, but you got to figure out something official to show that the person did leave. And actually, you know, before I end the show, we'll take up more questions, but my assistant Katrina named you, Santi, as our raffle winner. So we can have a private video consultation about this. Take a screenshot where you're watching this on your app so I can see your username and know it's you, and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com, and we can have a private consultation about it. But interesting issue. Thanks for reaching out, and hopefully we can have a chat about it. We'll take a couple more questions, and we'll call it a day. Nabjot says, hi, sir. My date of birth is March 25th, 1997. Our party date is July 2008, approved July 2010. I think is there a chance in F3? I can't give you individual legal guidance here. I think you're talking about CISPA. You need to do the calculation. I have videos on Child Status Protection Act that give you the calculation. Just do the math there. I can't jump and do math right now on a live show like this. But check out the videos. Just type in JQK Law and CSP or Child Status Protection Act. The formula is there, and you can put it together, looking up at the old visa bulletins to see which one's the proper. User 95 asks, my N400 says 7 months. Does that mean a point of 7 months? It's a guess. It doesn't mean anything that I would rely upon. Alone as U.S. citizens can apply 5 married siblings at the same time, taking advance. So I think you're saying you're a U.S. citizen, you have 5 siblings. Can you file all of them at the same time? Yes, you can. That's why the line for F4 category, brothers and sisters, U.S. citizens, is so long. Because if you have 10 brothers and sisters, you apply for all of them at once. And that happens all across the world, especially in the Philippines, Mexico, China. And so the line is humongous and takes, 15, 20 years, 22 years, India, unfortunately. But this is the reason you can file for all of them, and it just creates a long, long line. Lane asks, I have my advanced parole for my EAD, but I don't have my J1 visa waiver yet. Can I cross Mexico? If you have your advanced parole, you could go and come back. I can't say you can. I don't know. I have to see what's going on because the J1 visa, you need a J1 visa waiver if you're subject to 2-year home residency requirements, and that's related to either adjusting status in the United States or changing status in the United States or obtaining an HRL visa. If you have advanced parole based on adjustment of status, that's going to be problematic because you shouldn't file for adjustment of status until the Department of State has approved a waiver. Sometimes they'll still approve the adjustment of status, but in the instructions for Form I-485, it says do not file the Form I-485 until the Department of State has approved your waiver. So potentially your EAD was improperly issued, or you could have your I-485 denied while you're outside, and they cancel all your advance parole. So it's a problem there, actually. Yeah. So Lane, I need to talk to the lawyer in private to see what happened if you prematurely filed your I-485. Honestly, in practice, you probably go and come back and no one's going to notice. Frankly, that's probably what's going to happen. But as a lawyer, I can't advise you to do that because there may be a serious error in your case and the risk does exist. So you need to talk to the attorney in private. If you'd like to schedule a private consultation, obviously email us. There are fees for consultations, but we can talk about it. you shouldn't have filed for adjustment of status if that's the basis of your advance for an EAD, because they could deny the case later. All right, I'll take 2 or 3 more questions. Nas asks, I got my I-7 case number and receipt, but I haven't got my biometrics, and I applied for a month. Is that normal? Yeah, it's normal. Sometimes they do it immediately, sometimes later, sometimes they waive it. Anything's possible. Just keep an eye out. Make sure you update your address. We'll do 2 more questions, and then we'll call it a day. We have a lot more questions, but unfortunately, we're about out of time. So was that the last one? I was actually done. So we'll take, let's see, one question here. Yeah, a lot of timeline questions. I see why they're not popping them up for me. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. This is the end of our show today. Look forward to talking to all the people who won the free video consultations. Catch us again next week, 5 p.m. Pacific time. We'll have 3 new private consultations we can set up, and as well as answering all your general questions. Immigration is quite complex. There's a lot of data we need to get to answer these things properly. But hey, I love that you all joined. Thanks so much. It was a busy day, a lot of good questions. If you want to have a private consultation, a full consultation, email the office, and we can take it from there. Until next one, have a great Thanksgiving. God bless, and see you next week. Bye-bye.